Good day, doctors.
George Allen here. Good day, doctors.
Hey, this is Governor Chris Christie from New Jersey. Good day, doctors.
Go! You're watching Dr. Politics.
Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, May 31st, and it is the last day of May. We're about to run into hazy, hot, and humid days of summer. Last week this past week, we just had our Memorial Day weekend. It is the start of the chicken necker sandwich season on Maryland's Eastern Shore. They're only around until Columbus Day. Then they go back to Montgomery County and live. But this has been an interesting week. I mean, I did not see this guilty conviction coming this fast. Although this reminds me of a kangaroo court, frankly.
Yeah.
You had the judge was a Biden contributor, as was the prosecutor, as was probably many members of the jury.
Yeah, that's right.
Were Biden contributors. I mean, I would have been shocked if he did not get convicted, frankly.
Yeah.
This is all a setup, and this is going to backfire on the Democrats. I know they're popping the bubbly at MSNBC. They're all giddy about it at CNN. Yesterday, while I'm running, I hear honkings of horns on the road as I'm running because people are so giddy about like some third world despotic regime where they all start honking the horns and jumping out of the cars and stuff like that. It was a horrible scene. We have become a banana republic, frankly.
Yeah.
Where the government uses, and here's something that everybody needs to remember. One, turnabout's fair play. Two, they did this to a multi-billionaire former president. What do you think they do to you or me?
Yeah.
They want to get rid of us, They're going to kill us and drop us in the cement when they start building the new Key Bridge, frankly.
Yeah.
It is criminal what happened, and I think it's a very sad day in America that one political party uses the power of the courts and the judiciary to go after their political enemies.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what it is, Banana Republic. They're all these cases are politically inspired. I remember it's also New York that had they got 400-something million out of them for allegedly committing fraud, and they have no victim. Nobody was defrauded, but he committed fraud. He's been defrauded.
And this was a misdemeanor at best. The DOJ didn't take this. You've got Alvin Bragg, who takes cop killers and turns those into misdemeanors and lets them out on their own recognizance so they can go kill someone else.
Yeah.
While with President Trump, he had a gag order. He had he wasn't allowed to leave the state. What was he going to do if he left the state of New York? I mean, honest to God, it's like, what? That was ridiculous. Oh, he can't leave the state of New York or the city. I think it was even, they wouldn't let him go. I mean, did they not see the rally in the Bronx last week? I mean, do they think this is going to work in their favor? I don't think it is.
So I assume he can leave the state now.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, he was allowed to go on weekends because he did have a fundraiser in Mar-a-Lago that raised more money than the Biden event with the two former presidents, Obama and Clinton.
Well, and apparently last night he raised $36 million. I contributed just now, so I don't think that makes much of a difference. But it's a lot of money that he has raised. Yeah. I wonder if that's a record, $39 million to raise in one night.
It's possible, but I know Rick Lazio raised a lot of money in 2000 when he ran against Hillary.
Oh, okay.
But it's possible. I know John McCain raised a lot of small dollar money when he ran for president in 2008, where he was, gee golly whiz, lucky to be the guy that lost to the first black president in America.
Barack Hussein Obama. Well, I think we'll find out whether this moves the polls or not. I don't know. I think not. But if it doesn't, Biden's that's sort of it for him. I mean, that was I think the last hope was that the indictment would sink Trump, and if it doesn't sink him,
well, and also the Hunter Biden trial is starting.
All right, yeah,
and that's, although I think that will be in what do you call it? It's going to be in Delaware, which I believe it's a blue state, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be a Democrat judge. So he's probably going to get off. And here's the point: Democrats are complaining about the RNC and the president of the justice system is broken. I was asked that on another show I did earlier today. If I go, well, why don't you ask why don't you ask somebody like Councilman Will Jawando if he thinks the judicial system is broken in America? And they'll agree that the system is rigged against some people, and it is rigged against President Trump, frankly.
Yeah, if his name wasn't Donald Trump, they wouldn't even have brought any of these up.
Oh, this would have been a slap on the wrist, frankly. Well, what I kind of want to see is a prosecutor in the great state of Texas to bring Joe Biden up on the charges and put him on trial after he loses this November.
Yeah, well, I just want him to lose myself. That's the main thing, I think. But
I'm almost positive he loses. He's no way he gets reelected to another term. I mean, the rats are jumping off the ship, so. And the saddest woman in America, Hillary Rodham Clinton, has been very giddy about this, and got news for you, lady. You're not going to be president ever.
Yeah, no, she's not. Thank God. No, we Trump helped stop that, so that stopped that. Yeah. So that was good. But I don't know. Like I said, we'll see if it moves the needle.
Also, this trial, the Democrats don't understand, has unified the Never Trumpers and the Trump Republicans are now unified behind President Trump. And Susan Collins, who says she's not voting for President Trump, comes out against this. The RFK was outraged by this Democrat, RFK. I think it's game over for the Democrats, frankly.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you think this might backfire. I'm just assuming it doesn't move the needle, but I don't know. Maybe it does hurt them more than it hurts Trump. I don't know.
I think it hurts them.
It certainly energizes the base.
But this whole thing was viewed as, it was all viewed political. It was basically a kangaroo court,
Yeah.
And I mean,
they just wanted the conviction. Whether it holds up in appeal, I don't think it would hold up. But then it's New York. Who knows?
They have turned President Trump into a dissident now. He is. If they put him in jail, he's going to be like the Sakharovs. Remember the Sakharovs, David?
Yeah.
They were in the Russian gulags. I think Gorbachev finally let him out after the wife died in prison. And Andrei Sakharov was released, I think, maybe in 99 or actually, no, probably like 88, 89, because there was no Soviet Union in 99.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll see. Like I said, but yesterday, before the results, I mean, in Virginia, it's tied. Again, that was from a couple days ago, 42-42. In New York, I'm hearing, and I don't know the poll, but I'm hearing it's in single digits. Biden's lead is in single digits in
New York. If you look at with Real Clear Politics, his numbers just aren't looking good. He's also losing young voters, He's losing young people. He's losing African Americans. And I think basically the fact is he is right now, he is basically not doing too well. Amongst that, the reason is everybody is reminded about the incompetence of the Biden administration when they go pump their gas, when they buy groceries,
Yeah.
when they go to buy a car. You know, in Maryland, we just raised vehicle registration fees, and I love how one Democrat says, "Well, it's only the big SUVs. You know, people who drive Corollas will be fine." And I'm thinking, like, you know, Corollas are not a safe car. You know,
Yeah.
so Democrats just, I mean, the Democrats were always the anti-life party, frankly, and they want to see people die in car accidents now too in Maryland because they want to force everyone to buy small cars.
Yeah, I know that's true. Well, they always were. That's always one of their things. But you know, that's the other amazing story that the market for electric cars is drying up. I mean, it's just not
Oh
there.
yes, there is not, you know, there's no market. I mean, when I went to go buy my Escalade, they had two Escalades, and one was the supersized ESV Escalade,
Mhm.
and it is not, you know, but they had rows of Lyrics, which is their EV offering Cadillacs. I didn't see a single Tahoe on the lot. This was a Chevrolet and Cadillac dealership. Did not see a Tahoe, and this is the dealership where I bought a number of cars from. Sport Chevrolet in Silver Spring, great dealership. Well, you know, it's a family-owned business. They give you the best deals in town. Frankly, they really work with you. I must say that that is one of the things about Sport Chevrolet and those dealerships. They used to have rows and rows of SUVs.
Yeah.
They just can't keep them on the lot enough because of Bidenomics, frankly, because Biden chip shortage and you know, the scarcity of cars during the pandemic, and now the used car market is dead. I mean, you may as well just buy a new car because used cars are about the same price as a new car.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
You know, but and people understand that. You know, right now, if you look at the, you know, like the ABC News poll, right, has Biden up by one. Then you have Reuters has them tied. You have what do you call the Morning Consultant this week has Trump up by one. Emerson has it. Yeah, these are this week's poll. Yeah, they ended last week on the 28th. But Emerson has Trump up by two.
All right.
NPR PBS Minutest has Trump up by, no, they have Biden up by two, but I'm not really surprised there. We're just going to call it Detroit and New York City and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, Harvard Harris, and this is the outlier. Harvard Harris has Trump up by 6.
Wow.
While Fox News only has him up by 1.
Okay.
And then you have ABC News, Ipsos, no surprise there. He's up, Biden is up 1 there. And then you have, and these are older polls, by the way. And those same polls, Biden is losing. The trend is Biden is losing his lead in these polls, frankly.
Yeah.
Where Trump is gaining. I mean, when you have a Harvard Harris poll has Trump up by 6. Quinnipiac has Biden up by 1.
Yeah.
And PBS, I mean, of the pollsters this week, you go from this week you have, so the Real Clear Politics average Trump's up right now.
Well, and there's
And-
national polls too, so that's a good sign because Biden should be up by a decent margin in national polls.
But if you go back to last August, actually no, even last August Trump was ahead, just not as much as, you know. But it's, you know, he's not doing badly, you know, in the polls. And I don't think they're going to be able to steal the vote this time like they did last time. I don't think they're going to be able to do what they did with all the polls around the country, frankly.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens. But hopefully soon he'll have a running mate.
Yeah, I mean, I think a Tom Cotton would be really good for a running mate for him. Tom
Yeah.
Cotton would be great. I think also Mike Pompeo would be a great running mate, you know. And
Yeah.
I tell you, if we're going to pick out his cat, I think Jim Gilmore would make an excellent Secretary of State for the Trump administration, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Governor Orlick would be an outstanding. I mean, he'd be an outstanding transportation secretary or education secretary in the Trump administration.
Yeah.
You know, I think for interior secretary would be really good. Would be first choice would be Gary Bays, but I think he would not accept it just because he's But I think Dirk Kempthorne, the former governor and senator from Wyoming, would be good. Actually, Idaho, not Wyoming. He'd be really good. I think Condoleezza Rice. Excuse me.
Well, with the running mate situation, I've started to kind of come to the view that maybe with the polls looking as tight as they are in the second tier of swing states, Trump's ahead in the swing states. It looks almost 5 or 6. Maybe you'll look at a New Hampshire with Chris Sununu in terms of pulling New Hampshire in, because maybe that can happen. Yep. And then again, as I said, Virginia now looks close. I mean, Virginia, according to that one poll's tied. So maybe you bring in a Youngkin who's popular in Virginia who could probably pull in Virginia. Yeah. So just a few thoughts there. I don't know if we have someone in New Jersey, because I think New Jersey could be a close one. I mean, New Jersey.
We got Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, but other than Christie, because you're right. Yeah, that won't work. So.
And the other person I could think of would be Brett Shumlin, the former mayor of Jersey City.
That's true, unless Jeff Van Drew, unless he likes Van Drew.
I don't know. I'm a little, Jeff Van Drew would be good, but I don't think we can. I don't think they could deliver New Jersey. You need somebody that can remember the old Governor Tom Keene.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, he was the best governor New Jersey's had, I think, in recent memory, maybe in my lifetime. Because I mean,
more so than Christy Todd.
I mean, Christy Todd. We were excited about Christy Todd when she won in '94 or '93. She became governor. I thought she was great. We picked up New Jersey, we picked up Virginia with the great Governor Allen.
Yeah,
that was like the beginning of the end for the Democrats' lock hold in America. Because a year later, we took back the House and the Senate with Speaker Newt.
Yeah.
And the contract, which, by the way, this year, it is 30 years ago.
Wow.
30 years ago this November, We need to start doing celebrations for that, the contract with America. I think another good person, I mean, good running mate would be Governor Greg Abbott would be a great running mate for him.
Yeah, I mentioned last week,
I think Mike
you can highlight the border. You can highlight the border. I wish maybe someone in Arizona, but I don't know if anyone. Doug Ducey. He's not
going to pick Doug Ducey. Then there's J.D. Hayworth, former congressman. Sportscaster turned congressman turned sportscaster.
Unless he wants Andy Biggs.
Biggs. And then there's he could pick Barry Goldwater Jr., the great grandson of Barry Goldwater.
That's right. Yeah.
Who's
remember the congressman from California? Was that Goldwater's son? Goldwater's son was in Congress from California.
Yeah, but I think this is like the grandson, so not really Barry Goldwater Jr. It's like Barry Goldwater Jr. or something like that.
Yeah, the third. I don't know. I guess he'll make a pick soon, and it could help him. It's an important pick.
I don't think he should pick soon. I think he should wait like tradition. President Reagan did not announce his pick to the week of the convention.
Yeah.
President Bush 41 did not announce to the week of the convention.
Yeah.
George W. Bush didn't announce till the week of the convention.
Yeah, remember it was Quayle, and it was at the beginning of that week. I remember that big.
Originally this lead was Alan Simpson.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. Alan
And
Simpson.
there's some mutual friends of ours that basically derailed that one. If we used to work for them.
I can imagine. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Alan Simpson was sort of the moderate Republican, but I didn't think he was so bad. But I think the conservatives.
Well, back then, Alan Simpson was actually fairly conservative, but I think he was pro-choice. That was what
Yeah,
derailed him.
yeah, I
But
think that's correct.
I think
Is he? By the way, is he still with us?
I'm
Alan
not
Simpson?
sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. One of our viewers will tell us.
Susan Baker could check it out, but
Exactly. I think
I
he's
think
still
he
with
may
us.
still be with us. I
And
saw
because
him
he did.
once. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
tall
he's
guy,
a
very tall.
very tall guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a tall guy.
Another good people for a running mate would be, I want to say, even if you want to think outside of the box, uh, uh, Bob Mackey.
Oh.
I think is that his name? No, Kraft, the Patriots owner.
On
Yeah,
the ticket?
yeah.
Huh.
Actually, if he really wants to win, he'd pick
Rex Tillerson?
Yeah.
Shades of Rex Tillerson on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I think another good person, unfortunately, can't pick these people because they're in the same state,
Yeah.
as he is, that's probably when you live in a big popular red state like Florida. A lot of good people are already there, Another good person would be, and this would help him with some of the more of the traditional Republicans. Dr. Tim Frisk, the former senator from Tennessee.
Yeah, he may not
He's
be
still
known.
relative.
You know who I think would be good, but she's a little
Marsha
neo-con.
Blackburn would be awesome.
Yeah. You know who would be good, but she's a little neo-conish and maybe a little too squishy? Nikki Haley. Because she's a good candidate. She's telegenic.
Yeah.
She's a reach to the middle.
Yeah. She'd be great.
But I don't think he'll pick her. But
I don't think she'll take it.
Well, I don't know. She'd have a leg up. I mean, whoever the next VP is going to have a real good shot at being president in 4 years.
I mean, knowing the president, he'll just shock. I think Pompeo would be the best choice for him, frankly, Mike Pompeo.
Yeah.
He brings the foreign policy experience. He would be kind of like Dick Cheney to his George W. Bush.
Yeah, that's a good point. Pompeo would probably be pretty good. I agree. But is he and Trump on the outs? I get the feeling that for some reason.
No, I don't think so. He's endorsed. What I'd really, honestly, it'll never happen. But Mike Pence again, Trump Pence ticket again would be great.
Yeah, but
I'm not just saying that because I can reuse all those bumper stickers and T-shirts and champagne flutes I have.
Well, as long as it's not date specific. But you may be right with Pompeo. Pompeo might be a good choice, especially with foreign policy being a real issue now and the disaster of Biden. And was there news today on inflation? We had some news on inflation.
I believe so.
It's up.
It's up, yeah. I mean, inflation is not going down. It's not going anywhere, frankly.
Yeah, no, it's going to go up. The question is, how much does it go up? Does it go up beyond what is expected? Because it's getting.
I don't think we had inflation numbers today because because we'll get them next week, actually.
Because for as much as Biden has to spend and all, and I think you were pointing this out earlier, it doesn't matter when people go to the store. It's going to be a commercial against them, and it's called inflation. When you go to the pump, it's a commercial against him.
Yeah. Well, basically, they're saying the projections right now are 3.1% is what it's going to be.
Okay. Well, that'll be down a bit.
Yeah, but it's a projection. Who does these projections? It's the Biden administration, but the price of gas is going up. I mean, it's about $3.75 to fill up now again.
Yeah,
and I think with OPEC Plus cutting production, it's just going to drive the price of gas up.
Yeah.
It's also going to it's not going to be a good thing, frankly, for us at the end of the day.
Yeah, Biden's a disaster, but we got to get him out of there. We need to get Trump in. So I just, like I said, hopefully this verdict doesn't cause too much damage. I don't know. I think in a previous period of time, this would have caused tremendous damage. Maybe it doesn't anymore. Maybe people already sort of figure this out, and maybe they also figure out that it's political. It's a Soviet type of
Yeah, it's
prosecution.
absolutely a Soviet style. I mean, it's Comrade Stalin and Khrushchev are looking up from hell with glee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it warms the hearts of any despot.
They're saying way to go. But a good example is that, the judge apparently is a Biden donor. And think about the hypocrisy or the contradiction, because for some reason, Sam Alito is supposed to recuse himself of, I don't know how many cases, because his wife flies the flag upside down. But yet, in the case of the Mershon in New York, he contributed to Joe Biden, and he's still allowed to preside over the case.
And I mean, not just Judge Alito. I mean, how many look at the cases that they want Justice Thomas to?
Yeah, well, it's good Alito held his ground. Thank God we got Alito holding his ground.
Yeah.
So I'm not recusing myself, and there's no reason he should recuse himself. And the attacks on the court I've never seen in my life. Now Roosevelt attacked the court, of course, but I've never seen it like this. And the reason for the decision to recuse is up to the individual judge. The reason for that is that the Supreme Court doesn't want to be in a position where they're all going around voting, oh, you should be off this case, you should be off this case. It's just going to be bad for your work.
And it's funny, nobody told us they yet to find out the leaker of the memo of the overturn Roe. And that should be something that people should be concerned about, the fact that you've got a leak in this United States Supreme Court. I mean, it was probably some Sotomayor basically staffer that did that.
Scarborough, who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, he's floating that it was Alito that leaked it to lock in, I guess, that decision. So, hey, once I've released it...
Scarborough's an idiot.
Yeah, he is. And
he was also an idiot. I've got sources who served in Congress that he would say the dumbest things in committee. He is not a smart guy. He's a moron.
No, you're right.
And the happiest days was the day he left Congress.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I guess he's making a lot by being a lefty and being the sellout that he is.
I mean, him and his new wife, the big news daughter, Mika Brzezinski.
But I remember the two of them. They started a radio show, and that was a total flop. But I remember listening. WMAO. Yeah, I remember listening to them, and they would be the conservatives. Now she wasn't, but she'd just go along and kind of whatever. And he was trying to be the conservative, but then gave that.
What's funny is he got replaced by Sam Donaldson's show.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
No. They fired Chris Plant to put him on WML. Then they had to bring Chris Plant back because ratings were so dismal with Mika and Joe.
Okay, yeah. I like
Sam Donaldson was there before Michael Graham, actually, but Sam Donaldson used to have a show on MAL.
Okay, all right.
Which I know it's kind of funny, But it is what do you call it? And then and this judge, the sentencing date is a couple of days before his big speech in Milwaukee this summer.
Okay, yeah.
Why is everything like, what are you doing? Really, what are you doing? This is, you could have done it after, or you could have done it before, but no, you're going to wait until the week of the convention. So they're trying to take the limelight out. They're trying to basically but I tell you, this is not going to do nothing to hurt the Trump president's campaign, frankly.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think it's going to hurt him. I think this actually basically guarantees a Trump win.
Yeah, maybe, but I think we'll see. It may very well help. I mean, it may. Who knows? I mean, it could turn out to be people think this is excessive, especially if you look at the sentence and as this continues to go on. Then I think it could be very damaging to the Dems.
And actually, you see, Joe Biden's pier is now fully operational in Gaza.
Oh, okay.
So now Iran can smuggle weapons to them on that pier, and the gall. I mean, I am so disappointed in Ireland. Norway and what is it? Norway that decided to recognize the Palestinian Authority or
Yes.
Hamas as a no. It's like, what is this? We do not. I mean, honestly, God, Ireland, really? I mean, what are you guys thinking? And I believe Spain, was it Spain or Portugal? One of those two countries also recognized them this week on Tuesday.
Well, and another country that's drifted definitely to the left on foreign policy, South Africa, they had
Yeah,
elections, and I don't know if the ANC is going to hold on, so you may have changes there.
yeah,
It's the first real threat to the ANC since '94, since the end of
yeah.
apartheid.
They've been around. I mean, and it's good to see one party domination go away. Look, you look at countries like India that had the Congress Party, or as I like to call it, the Indian Democrat Party, in
Yeah.
charge for over 50 years, and then when they lost power, that's when you saw real noticeable progress.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the 90s, when they lost power. But I mean, you got the Mrs. Clooney wanting to have Bibi Netanyahu arrested. You've got Hollywood, and I am shocked how many anti-Semites are out in Hollywood as well as in Congress.
Yeah, it's a surprise, especially Hollywood. I wouldn't have thought so many, but well, I mean, Israel continues to march on, and I would think pretty soon you're getting to the point you're getting closer to Hamas being wiped out.
Yeah, which is good.
It should be at this point,
and that would be a good day to sell. That would be a day of celebration.
Well, of course, but I would assume we're getting closer to that. And Bibi hasn't seemed to back down.
No, he shouldn't. No, nor should he. Frankly.
No.
And I love how Joe Biden said, "Nobody's above the law except me or Bill Clinton." They did to President Trump what they tried to do to President Nixon. Frankly, they tried to do it to Vice President Agnew.
Yeah.
This. It's like, what does this tell you? The Democrats we never use the DOJ as a political weapon to go after our enemies, but the Democrats have done it before. They did that against President Nixon. They used the judicial system and power of Congress and investigations to go after President Nixon. They did that to President Reagan with with the investigation, and then they did that to President Trump, with investigation after investigation after investigation. We don't do that. We should start doing that, frankly.
Well, hopefully this fails. We get Trump back in, and then I think you got to fire Christopher Wray. I think Wray has got to go. I hope that's one of the first things they do.
Yeah.
And then you get in someone decent.
Yeah, and then I know the Democrats like to say Larry Hogan's going to be the 51st senator. So, don't vote for Larry. He'll be the 50. Got news for you, Democrats. He's going to be the 53rd senator.
Yeah, I hope.
Because we're going to West Virginia is 51. 52 will most likely be McCormick in Pennsylvania.
Well, we're not at 50 yet. Where are we at now? Like 49, right?
No. I thought we're 50-50, aren't we? 50-50
It
right
was
now?
50-50, but then in the last election, right?
No, I thought we were 50-50 still. I mean, nevertheless, Larry. Okay, let's say he makes 50, and I think so. I think we should, Craig. And also, we should recognize the Bass Republic as well, the Bass people.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, even I think it's still 50-50, but if it's 49-51 right now, West Virginia is number 50, McCormick is 51.
Right.
Nevada will be 52, Larry will be 53.
Yeah. And I think Ohio we'd have a real shot at knocking off Sherrod Brown, I would think.
Oh, I think we do. That's a given. That's
and Montana. There's no reason Tester should survive. I wrote a column in Substack about that.
So that means Larry Hogan is going to be like the 55th senator at the end of the day,
I hope
not going to be 51,
But I hope also the conservatives give Larry Hogan a little. I understand it's distasteful for us, but I hope he's given a certain amount of leeway because it's the state of Maryland.
It's the state of Maryland. Look, he's going to be more conservative than our last Republican senator, Mac Mathias, or
Yeah.
the time in Maryland we had 2 Republican senators.
Pardon?
We had 2 simultaneous Republican senators in Maryland at one point.
Oh, I
Mac
know.
Mathias and J. Glenn Bell.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, and J. Glenn Bell was very liberal compared to, and J. Glenn Bell and Mac Mathias, they both come from the more conservative parts of the state. Like Mac Mathias was from Frederick. I think J. Glenn Bell was from Cumberland or someplace like that, which is very, very red. Even today, still very red. And they came out to be as more.
Well, speaking of liberal Republicans in Maryland, you remember Wayne Gilchrist?
I do remember Wayne Gilchrist, and I also remember Connie Morella, my former congresswoman.
I remember Connie Morella, but is Gilchrist? I think is still with us, but he was.
Yes, so is Connie, by the way. So is Connie. Connie's still with us.
Is she still in Maryland? I wonder. But
yes, she is. She lives down the street from my friends that live in Bethesda. She lives right down the street from her.
But Gilchrist was fairly liberal. I think he's a Democrat now. But one thing I never understood, I thought he came from a conservative area. I thought he was Eastern Shore.
Yeah, he's from the Eastern Shore, and he lost to a conservative Democrat, named Cratterville.
I don't remember that for Congress.
Yeah, I think and then Andy Harris ran against him and basically became the next congressman from the Eastern Shore.
Well, who was the Democrat?
Cratterville.
Okay,
he would not be elected as a Democrat today.
Oh, he's that conservative?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and then you also have, the Eastern Shore had a Democrat before Wayne Gilchrist. Roy Dyson was a Democrat from the shore. I mean, you also had what's her name? Is her name Beverly Burns or Beverly By or something like that? She represented the 6th district, and when she lost the primary, she recruited Roscoe Bartlett to run for that seat as a Republican.
Okay. Well, you remember Dennis?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dennis Ketterer. Ketterer, I think was his name. He didn't get elected, but he was the
weatherman from the weatherman from Channel 7. He ran against Connie Morella.
All right, but as I recall, he was a fairly conservative Democrat. And I don't think
so is Heath Schiller, but they're not in Congress anymore. Heath Schiller, Dennis Ketterer couldn't get elected today.
I know, yeah, that's the thing. But he was fairly conservative. For a Democrat, he's fairly conservative. It's just like American Joe Metashevsky. He was a conservative Democrat.
Yeah, actually, when I was working on Ray Kroll's story, he's like a legend out in Baltimore County. Everybody knows American Joe.
American Joe.
I want to say his daughter was married to Mickey Steinberg, one of our former AGs, or was he lieutenant governor?
I didn't know
he was AG, and he was also Harry Hughes' lieutenant governor, I think. Mickey Steinberg.
Yeah, because American Joe was, a conservative Democrat. I mean, he wouldn't be bad. He wasn't bad politically.
I mean, William Donald Schaefer was a conservative Democrat. I mean, the Democrats.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, Peter Franchot's campaign, not Chris Van Hollen, Peter Franchot's campaign, because Peter Franchot's from liberal Tacoma Park, District 18. I know a lot of Republicans say, well, Franchot won't be so bad for us if he becomes governor. I'm like, this guy he represented Tacoma Park. He was a crazy liberal. His campaigns against William Donald Schaefer, his commercial for running for comptroller was, I am pro-choice.
Yeah.
Vote for me, pro-choice,
Yeah.
And Schaefer may have been pro-life. And I mean, we've got, it's like, even in Montgomery County, we had a county executive, Sid Kramer. His son, Ben Kramer, is in the state house now. But Ben is a crazy liberal. But Sid's daughter, Rona, was the aging secretary for Larry Hogan. And she was, there was talk about Rona becoming a Democrat, becoming a Republican. It would have been Bob's running mate in 2002.
Okay.
And Sid Kramer was a lot more conservative than the son, He passed away recently. I met Sid Kramer several times. Nice guy, very nice guy. He lost to a leftist Democrat who was against development named Neil Potter.
Oh, I remember Neil Potter. Yeah, People for Potter.
Yeah, and he was a horrible county executive, probably one of our worst county. Then he served after he was county executive. He also served again on the county council for a long time.
Okay.
You know?
Well, you remember Dutch Rupersberger, and
Yes.
I don't know what old Dutch is doing anymore. I guess maybe he's done with politics. But he was always thought of, and I don't know if there's any truth to this or not, but wasn't at one time he thought of as kind of a moderate to conservative Democrat?
Yes, actually, yes, he was a moderate.
Yeah.
He comes from a very conservative part of Maryland, and he comes from the Dundalk area,
Yeah.
and that's where Norm Stone, longtime Democrat state senator, was there. And the Democrats primaried him, and that's how I noticed. And then he lost, and after they got rid of Norm Stone, we got the great Senator Johnny Ray Sowling, and Republicans control Eastern Baltimore County right now.
Okay.
You've got the senator, the 3 delegates are all Republicans. Johnny Ray Sowling is the senator. You got Rick Metzger, Robin Grammer, and Bob Long, all Republicans. I mean, Maryland's got an interesting history. I mean, even in Virginia, you guys had conservative Democrats over the years. I mean, Doug Wilder would have a hard time getting elected anything as a Democrat today in Virginia.
I agree, and Bill Clinton would have trouble getting elected as a Democrat.
No, yes, that is true. He would. I mean,
but you're right. We did. It started to change though. We lost, and I wrote a column in the Washington Times. They published it. That last cycle, we lost Chap Peterson, kind of the moderate Democrat from Fairfax, and Glenn Barker, kind of more liberal than Chap, but he lost. Yeah. So the party is now like the national party. But when I was a kid growing up, the Democratic Party in Virginia was fairly moderate. It was fairly a moderate party. But it changed.
Yeah, and as the Democratic Party, even Dick Gephardt.
Yeah.
Who you don't view him as this ultra right wing kind of guy, but he'd have a hard time getting elected as a Democrat today. Bill Bradley, the senator from New Jersey, would have a real hard time getting elected. He wouldn't survive a primary, nor would Scoop Jackson or Pat Moynihan or Joe Lieberman. And Joe Lieberman was primaried out of the party, frankly.
That's right. Yeah.
And you have, Fritz Hollings, the senator from South Carolina. I mean, the man who put the stars and bars over the state capitol, which Republican Nikki Haley took down, would not fare too well. Howie Heflin's another one. A lot of these Democrats would have even a Maryland Democrat from the 70s would have William Donald Schaefer. He's like the godfather of Maryland Democrat politics. He would have a real tough time getting elected to anything in the state of Maryland.
I agree. It's sad, but
and I know Democrats say, well, Ronald Reagan wouldn't get Ronald Reagan would get our nomination again.
Yeah, that was Larry Sabato. Excuse me, he was pushing that.
Yeah, Larry Sabato.
I told Sabato through Twitter. He's always a snarky piece of what. But he says Ronald Reagan wouldn't get nominated in the Republican Party today, and I told him, I said Sabato, Chap Peterson couldn't get nominated in the Democrat Party today, but of course he didn't mention that. He didn't think about it.
I mean, there's a lot of Democrats, like even the former Democrat liberal. I mean, he was a liberal back then. In Senator Rockefeller of West Virginia.
Yeah.
He did not get elected.
Well, was it Arkansas? Where was he? Arkansas?
No, West Virginia. Senator Rockefeller was West Virginia.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one of the
Rockefellers.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember J. Rockefeller. Yes, of course. Yeah.
And then you had the other Rockefeller from New York, who was vice president for Gerald Ford.
Yeah, he was outright liberal, though.
Yeah, but what's funny is he said he was vice president for Jerry Ford, and he just decided to live in his own house. My house is nicer.
Probably.
But by the way, another good running mate. I just thought of it is Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Yeah, I
Should be
think
good.
so. Yeah,
You know.
I think we win Arkansas anyway. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
We win Arkansas either way. I mean, but we
Maybe.
are,
Yeah.
what's that? But I mean, and also here's some more stuff. I think, what do you call it? Mitch McConnell has also come out to support, and Mike Pence is now, and other like never Trumpers are coming out to support President Trump. That should be alarming to the Democrats. These guys have united the Republican Party.
Yeah, I think that's true, but that's because Biden's so bad. I agree. You still have a few holdouts, but the holdouts are dead enders.
Yeah. And you've got, and I think it's really, it's just not going to be a good time for the Democrats. Enjoy today because,
Yeah.
when, honestly, President Trump's not going to do this. I really wish he would. Let's reopen those investigations on Hillary's files. Let's look into Whitewater.
Yeah.
Let's reopen the Vince Foster alleged suicide.
Yeah.
Let's start investigating these here. Hell, let's open up Abscam all over again. Frankly,
Yeah.
let's look into all these. Let's look into every one of Joe Biden's business dealings with Burisma and Ukraine. Frankly, let's look into that. Let's look into John Kerry dodging taxes by moving his yacht. Frankly,
I think if Trump can get past this and survive this, and I think that's the case, then I think it's over. Then what else do they got?
But is this worse than the Billy Bush tape that they leaked? When about grabbing
I don't think so. I mean, you think it would
that
be
was a lot. I think that was a lot worse than this, and he got elected.
I think you're right. Believe it or
So
not,
think about that, Democrats. After those Access Hollywood Billy Bush tapes, think about it. He won, and this is blatant partisanship. Everyone knows it, frankly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's going to be worse. I think so. But get past this, and I mean, it's over. I don't know what else Biden would have if this doesn't do it for him.
Yeah, it's not going to. I'm going to tell you. If he's waiting on that Georgia case or the DC case,
yeah,
that's not. Neither one of those are going anywhere, frankly. Before the elections,
Yeah, I think so too.
And frankly, he can just pardon himself afterwards. Frankly,
yeah,
give himself a blanket pardon.
Yeah. So I agree with you.
We've got, Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and like I said, I've contributed now, and I'm not an ordinary contributor. I'm a low dollar contributor, and last night $36 million came in. So,
and it's only going to increase. It is only going to go up from there.
Yeah. So, hopefully, hopefully survives it.
Yeah, and we've got also coming up, is you've got this Senate momentum. I mean, I know Democrats. I think Democrats are not going to. They're not. I don't think they can even pick the House up right now, because even the numbers for House Republicans that were on the bubble are now solidifying more for the Republicans.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
We may we may hold on to the majority in the House, and which would be great because we hold on to the majority in the House. We get the Senate. We get a Republican president. There's a lot of things we could do. We could start fracking again. We could build the XL pipeline. We could start drilling for oil in Anwar, which Joe Biden has again put a stop to.
Yeah.
We can drill in Anwar. We can drill here. We can drill there. We can drill everywhere. Frankly, it is. It'll be a new American Renaissance. Frankly, and I think President Trump will solve the Ukraine issue. Maybe perhaps he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, kind of like how Teddy Roosevelt got the Peace Prize when he negotiated the peace between Japan and Russia.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, I hope so. We'll see when we get to there, but I hope so. Yeah.
But I think it's going to be. Here's the thing: it is so transparent. This whole thing was political to begin with.
Yeah.
Why did they not do the change of venues? If they had this same trial in upstate New York, say in Binghamton, or if they did it in Orange County, this case would have been thrown out by the judge.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
a mistrial, frankly. But
Yeah.
they did it. They found a very Democrat judge. They found a Alvin Bragg, who and the Attorney General of New York campaigned on getting Trump.
Yeah, that's true. Which displays bias right there.
Yeah. And I think we're actually at final thoughts, Dave. Yeah, so I'll let you start. How's your book doing, by the way?
It's doing good. I've already started selling them, and I'm actually I found a lady online that does book reviews, and she might review my book. I'll send it to her. I've got a lady the other day who wants to buy 10 copies, so that's good.
Good. Yeah, do you know Susan? She'll write a review for your book.
Yeah, well, hopefully, it just came out, so now we're just starting to get. I haven't had reviews yet, but that'll come. But so no, that's going well, and I hit the trail next week, as early as next week, promoting it.
Oh, good. Are you going to the MF? You should go to those MFRW conventions they have.
Which is
basically actually in Virginia would not be the MFRW in Virginia. In Virginia, the VFRW, Virginia Federation of Republican Women.
I have in Harrisonburg. My book wasn't out in time for this year's, but last year I did.
Yeah. Are you going to go to the 8th district conventions and those? Do you go to 8th or do you go to?
I'm in the 8th, but yeah, we'll see. I was thinking of doing the table at Leadership Institute like I did last year, but it's kind of pricey. It's kind of hard to do it with the tables because you have to look at the table. And things like CPAC are way too expensive.
CPAC, you know what's funny? CPAC, when I was working for CPAC in 2000, a co-sponsorship was $2,000.
Wow, yeah.
And students with student IDs, they got to come in for free.
Yeah.
They still do that, but now it's more of there's a higher cost. Then again, CPAC has more than doubled in size since when I was at CPAC. When I was at CPAC, we had the largest turnout up to that point. We had almost 6,000 people there. And that was and we were at the old Crystal Gateway Marriott in in Crystal City. Yeah. And that was actually a nice hotel. I like the fact that you can go take the underground, go to the other side. They had the restaurants there.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I remember doing lots of events for Morton, a lot of Leadership Institute events there.
Yeah, the CLC.
But I haven't been to CPAC in years. You're saying there's a bigger turnout today for CPAC.
They probably get over 20,000 people at CPAC, 20, 30,000. I want to say even more than that. I want to say 50,000 is the number I seem to remember.
I don't know how they. Okay, well maybe that's why
they're at the Gaylord now in Maryland over in Oxon Hill.
Okay, well maybe that's why they've got to do it. I remember when they were at Omnishorum when I first went. It was the Omnishorum Hotel.
That was the one I went to too. I also went to. They also had it at the Mayflower too. They used to see CPAC at the Mayflower too.
Okay, I don't remember the Mayflower, but the Omnishorum I was there for. It was the first one I went to.
Did you ever go to the Conservative Leadership Conference ones? The ones that Morton, Paul.
Yeah, that was a Morton thing. Yeah, we did. In fact, I remember one year we had it at the Crystal City.
Yep. And they've also had it at the Renaissance Hotel downtown.
Okay, yeah.
They kind of were there for a while towards the end, I know. And then they kind of just went away.
Yeah, they don't do CLC anymore?
No, they don't. But I think North Carolina does a CLC because Don and I actually went to it's a group called Civitas, and they do a conservative leadership conference, a 4-day conference in Raleigh, and it's a great conference, frankly.
Okay.
And unlike other conferences you attend, your fee covers your hotel stay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess they have to do it at the Gaylord to fill in. So anyway, yeah, things are going well, and just doing the book and hanging in there. So, and then the Substack, I'm trying to get back on that now. So I've got some columns up now. So hopefully I can come to Maryland and I'll push it there.
Maybe next week we can have you come down to our club meeting on Thursday if you want.
Oh, I'd love to. And the thing about the book is it's a short novel. It can be read in a couple sittings. Yep. And it's not so Virginia centric like the first one. I made this to be a broader audience. And
good.
I think it'll have a broader audience, less obscure. I learned
your book did pretty well in Maryland.
Yeah, but this will be a little less obscure, and I stripped out the humor. I love the humor and the snark, but I tried to strip that out for this book to make it more serious. And it has a positive ending. The other book, of course, is not positive, but this will be more positive. But anyway, that's about it, and hopefully we'll have a good summer.
Absolutely. Okay, my final thoughts today. Montgomery County, our MCPS wields so much money. I mean, so much power over the council. The council gave them more money than they asked for, and now the teachers want another $60 million on top of the extra they got. And now they're saying, if you don't give us that money, we're gonna have to lay off teachers. I'm like, hey, I go, wait, you guys have a teaching shortage problem in Montgomery County, like every other jurisdiction. And if you lay off teachers, I'm sure they'll have a job the next day because there's a shortage of teachers in every jurisdiction in our area.
Yeah.
And a lot of the MCPS, the teachers union, talk about how affordable housing is an issue and so on in Montgomery County. These teachers, they get new jobs in places like Carroll County, Maryland, where they can buy a beautiful house for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, And we solved the housing problem too. So shame on you, County Council. Let's get our representatives in the State House and House, because there's a law in Maryland that you cannot give less money than you did the previous year. So if you get $5 million this year, next year we have to give you more, $5 million or a little more.
Oh, really? You can't cut spending?
No, you can't. So I think we need to call upon our friends like Delegate Tomlinson and Senator Sally, introduce a bill next year to nullify that law. Frankly,
that's ridiculous. That's not to take up your time, but that's a ridiculous law.
Yeah, Montgomery County schools do not need that much money. The original intent of the law was for these rural counties that needed more, that didn't have the same resources Montgomery County has. So I think they need to revisit this law. It's been around the books for many. I mean, honestly, it might be over about 100 years it's been on the books. So I think it's time to revisit some of these antiquated laws,
Yeah, I agree.
But that is all for tonight, everyone. Good night. See everyone next week. Bye.
See you guys.